Is a computer engineering degree actually worth it? That's what I'll be answering in this video once and for all. Now, this degree requires a huge commitment. I mean, you'll spend years of your life studying and often tens of thousands in tuition fees. But it can definitely pay off as well and lead to some of the highest paying jobs in tech with six-figure salaries all over the place. Now, on the other hand, there are many people claiming that you don't actually need a degree to get a job in these fields, and that there are other ways like self-studying or just taking an IT bootcamp, and that there are actually better options. In this video, I'll talk about the pros and cons and whether it's actually worth getting a computer engineering degree right now. Now, I'm going to start by breaking down the computer engineering degree and what you're going to learn, and then we'll talk about the different career paths that you can take as a computer engineering major. We're going to talk about salaries, job satisfaction, and all that stuff, because I think it's really important to see if people are happy with their career in all different ways, not just how much money they make, and if they would do the same thing over and over again if they could. I'm also going to dig a bit into AI and how automation will impact this field, because I know that a lot of people, especially in tech, are worried that they're going to lose their jobs due to automation, and if you're just getting started, you don't want to spend years and just lose it all. I'm going to go through the computer engineering curriculum in no particular order, and let's just get started. So the first part is programming, and you will of course learn the fundamentals of coding, kind of similar to computer science, which is another really popular major. You'll learn programming languages like, for example, C, C++, and also a little bit of assembly language. Focus on this degree is often also on the lower level programming languages that interact directly with the hardware, which isn't that surprising considering how you're more focused on those aspects than, for example, a computer science major. Next up, we have a digital logic and design. Now here I'm talking about the different electronic circuits that make up computer hardware, and you'll be trained and be able to understand these. You will also learn more about the architecture of microprocessors, how they're designed, and how they actually work. Moving on to the next part, we have computer architecture, where you focus on different parts that make up a computer, such as the CPU or central processing unit, the different forms of memory, and the different storage systems, and all the other components of a computer. It's really important to understand how these ones actually integrate and work with each other to make it a functional computer. So systems thinking or systems integration is something that you'll also focus on, basically how things work together. You will also dig into the operating systems and the networking aspects, and how an operating system works, the different forms of operating systems, how networks function, how computers connect to each other, and how they communicate, and so on. Now, it's not an easy challenge to encompass 3 or 4 years in 2 minutes, but you'll also dig into signal processing and different types of signals and how they work, and embedded systems and robotics can also be a thing, more focusing on how computers can be embedded into different devices and be made more useful, as well as the different new technologies. Now, we didn't forget mathematics, but this will also depend a lot on the university. Some of the common courses include calculus, linear algebra, differential equations, as well as some form of discrete mathematics. Physics is also a key tool to understand some of the underlying principles and concepts that allow these electronic devices to function in the first place. But now let's talk about some of the possible career paths that you can go down as a computer engineering major. And it's absolutely impossible to include all of the career paths. I mean, you can do so many different things as well. You don't necessarily have to go down one of these paths, but I'm just going to show you some of the most common career paths that computer engineering majors take after graduation. First up on the list, we have the software developer or software engineer, and here you'll basically design and develop software applications or systems. And this is a very competitive field, but also very high paying. There are some great jobs, and of course it's going to be a little bit more towards the computer science majors, but your expertise in computer engineering can also help you a ton, and your skills will be relevant there as well. You can also become a hardware engineer, and here you will specialize in computer components, for example like processors and circuit boards. In your job, you're going to be focusing on the hardware aspects, so you're going to be contributing to the design, development, and also the testing of new hardware. Another very popular one is a network engineer, and here you'll be surprisingly responsible for the networks of a company. Your job is to ensure reliability and efficiency of these computer networks and make sure that everything actually works. If the networks don't work, then none of the things are going to work properly, so it's a very critical role, and for that reason you can actually make quite a lot of money, but we'll talk more about that in the pay section. Another field that's very trendy right now, and for good reason, is cybersecurity. As a computer engineering major, you can work as a cybersecurity analyst. Anyway, the cybersecurity analyst or engineer will protect systems from attacks, and the goal is to both prevent attacks, detect attacks, and then actually solve the problems once they do occur. It doesn't matter how well we protect the systems, there's always going to be something that slips through, and that's why it's an ever-changing field where you have to continuously evolve and improve the security. You can also become a data scientist or data engineer and move towards data science. And while it's not entirely relevant to computer engineering, but you may have to acquire some related skills. You can also work as a cloud engineer, which is basically someone that designs, implements and manages cloud-based solutions and all sorts of infrastructure in the cloud. Now we're taking a step back and going to the developer side again, and you can also become a mobile application developer. And I hope that this shows you that just because you have a computer engineering degree doesn't mean that you have to work specifically in computer engineering. You'll gain many valuable skills that can be used all over the tech field. Speaking about it, you'll also be well prepared to work as a technical support engineer, where you basically provide technical support and troubleshoot software or hardware issues. And here the goal is of course to make sure that the systems run smoothly and efficiently and that everything works according to plan. Now let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of salaries that you can expect, and this is a really hard one because it's going to depend a lot on the company that you work for, your experience and your location. So I'm going to be basing this on the pay scale data for the United States. And bear in mind that these are only averages and it's gonna vary a lot depending on your situation. There are also a lot of people that start at companies and make money that way. Some people might also freelance or become an entrepreneur and make money that way, but let's focus on our, traditional career paths. First up, we have the software developer with an average salary of around 78,000 per year. Now, if you're looking at software engineers, it's a lot higher as it's a little bit more advanced. Next, we have the hardware engineer with an average salary of around 95,000 per year. We have the network engineer with a salary of around 81,000 per year. And then we of course have the cybersecurity analyst with an average pay of around 81,000 per year. Now here you can also make more money if you become a cybersecurity engineer, but it's still a really good salary, and so far they've all been pretty good, I think. We have a data scientist with an average salary of around 100,000 per year, but here you can really make a lot more money, as with most of these, if you do work for like top companies and top roles. And then moving on to the cloud engineer, around 91,000, the mobile applications developer around 70 per year, and the support engineer around 74,000 per year. Perhaps more important than anything else is how the jobs are going to look like in the future. Will there actually be jobs, and is this something that you should put your time into? Because a college degree takes a lot of time, so you want to make sure that you're actually doing something that leads to available jobs. The reality is that most of these fields are growing faster than average. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated a 5% growth in computer hardware engineering jobs from 2022 to 2032, which is faster than average. It is an ever-growing field, so it's not fair for me to say that I know exactly how it's gonna be, but I know that these skills are incredibly valuable. Let us take a look at job satisfaction. Are people actually happy with their jobs? And working a job that you hate is only gonna last for so long, even if the money is great. You're gonna burn out and you're gonna hate everything. Luckily, around 87% of computer engineers reported feeling excited about their work. It's hard to know exactly why that is, but one reason could be that it allows you to solve complex puzzles and also bring some innovative ideas to life. I also think that people like being a part of a company and able to contribute, and these roles do play an important part in the company. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the computer engineering degree. The first one I want to mention is the competition. And competition is a real problem for some of the jobs, but not for all of them. And that is important to know. When it comes to the cons, the main thing that I have is that some people don't really understand what degree they're pursuing. If you're more interested in other aspects of IT, or you more want to focus on programming or software, then perhaps this isn't the best degree for you. And it's kind of the same with computer science. There are a lot of people that just think that it's all about programming, and then they realize that there's so much more to it. And just like with this one, it's not all about being an IT support, it is not all about programming, it's a kind of a combination of everything together. You'll get into a lot of theory and advanced stuff, so just make sure that you read and understand the curriculum and what you're actually getting into, and I think that it's gonna go great. I hope this was helpful, but don't make your choice entirely on a YouTube video, do your own research, and I wish you all the best. Drop a like and subscribe if you want to. I mean, I post videos like this all the time. And also YouTube picked a suitable video for you, the YouTube algorithm, it wasn't me. So it's somewhere on the screen, and if you want to see that video, just click that and I'll see you over there.